Hi! Today we're going to look at how to make a collectible game. But not just any collectible game, we're going to add a couple things to it. So let's first take a look at what we're actually going to be making today.
I'm here. Hold the applause. It's hard to contain your excitement when I'm around. I understand.
Alright, let's see what she has for us. Oh, good, I'm here. Yes, I am. The energy pods are scattered around town. You have to find them. I will find them. Oh, look, I think there's one now. Boop. Alright, that's one. Oh, look, there's another one. Boop. Awesome. Oh, look, a third one. Let's get it. Where'd he go? A bad guy. We'll just have to shoot him down. Got him. And there. Oh, I did it.
Tony for the win. Somebody make a note of that?
Awesome. As you can see, it's a pretty simple game. It's not just collecting items. We have a boss battle at the end. Now let's take a look at how to make it. Alright, we're going to start with a blank toy box. You can use one of the other toy boxes or decorate it as you see fit. I find it's easier to set up logic in an empty toy box and then decorate around it. And we're not going to really work on decorations today. Today's strictly the logic behind the game we just played. So first we need our quest giver. And we scroll up. I prefer to use these cast members because they tend to not disappear very often. The only problem is you cannot make them stand still. So she's going to wander around. Take that into account when you use them. Maybe try to corral them in an area they won't run away from. To make her talk, we are going to need 2 different text creators. So let's go ahead and get those out. Alright, the reason we need 2 is because they cannot talk to themselves. So to do multiple lines of dialogue with one character, you need 2. Go into the properties. This is going to be a connected actor. And let's go ahead and put it in. Done. And the third line she says is period. Good. And then this one. Nope. Properties. This is also going to be connected actor, so she will talk. Okay. Now that we know what she's going to say, let's go ahead and set up the logic. New logic connection. When line 1 is dismissed. Play text 1. When line 1 is dismissed. Play line 2. And let's connect her to her words. Actor. And no. Actor connection. Actor. Okay, now she's connected. Now we need the start of the game. To start the game off, we need a checkpoint. Put it right in front of her. And a trigger box. Alright. The checkpoint. We need to make it the default for all. So that way that's where we will start the game. And then the trigger box, we need to say that when it's entered by a player, it starts our dialogue. This is very important. You have to have something that starts it off because this is going to have all of our logic. It's going to come from that right there. Matter of fact, the first one is to turn off this trigger box. So that way we only loop through once. Now all of our special logic toys. We're gonna need one collectible tracker, one counter, one dual action trigger, and one time delayer. This is going to set up making the boss monster appear only when the last one has been collected. Now we're only going to set up one of the collection pieces, just because once you've figured out how to do one, the rest of them are exactly the same. So I don't want to bore you by doing a whole bunch at once. But we need our collection piece. We need the enemy creator. We need the locator. And we need a trigger box. Alright, now to set up the logic for all of this. Now, the collector is already set up to look at everything, and since we're only going to have one type of collectible, that's fine. Next, we want to look at the counter. Now, we want to make sure that first, when we collect an item, player, it increases the count by 1. Next, we're going to go into the properties of the counter. We want the target count to be 1 less than however many collectibles we're going to be using. Since we originally did 3, we want to leave the target at 2. We don't want the display to be visible, and the rest of these are not necessary. Next, we want to set up the logic connection for them. The first one is going to be count change. Whenever we pick up one item, we want the first input of our dual action trigger to be filled. Then, when target reached, we want the second filled. What this will do is, once you pick up the next to last item, it will fill the dual action trigger, and that will start our delayer. And we want that delay to be right around 2 seconds. You want it long enough for him to be able to leave the trigger box, but not so long that the trigger boxes won't be turned on by the time he reaches the last item. And you're going to see what I'm talking about here in a minute. When the delay is completed, we want to turn on every single trigger box that goes with our collectibles, because this trigger box is going to make the boss appear, but we don't want that to happen until we're on our last collectible. Now, to set up the collectibles to do all this, first we have our enemy creator, and we need it set up to this locator here. Generate location. We need our trigger box. When we enter it by a player, it will generate a random boss monster. And then, when the enemy is defeated, we are going to reset that. Okay. Last but not least, want when we're entered to make this disappear. And when this is generated, now what happens is when we walk into the trigger box, it will make the collectible disappear, it will spawn a monster, and once we defeat the monster, the collectible will reappear. Now, you can have any number of collectibles you want, you just have to do this exact setup every single time you put down a collectible, and you need to make sure that your time delayer is connected to the trigger box that you put down. So that way, once the next to last collectible is collected, it will set up the last trigger box to make a monster. But once you have that all done, you also need to make sure that one of these text boxes, new logic, we're just going to say line 1, deactivates this trigger box. Well, all the trigger boxes. That way, when you go looking for your collectibles, you don't spawn monsters every time you collect a collectible. Now, last but not least, we need our celebration. And for that, we just need a text creator and an action enforcer. Pretty simple stuff. When the last collectible is collected, we'll display text 1. We want this to be a banner because it's yay! Awesome. And after it's displayed, we will celebrate. And that's it. So let's take a look at it. Well, energy pods are scattered around town. You need to get them. 1, 2. Oh no, it disappeared. Oh, that's a big boss monster. And it's destroyed. The third guy shows up. And you did it. So that's how easy it is to make this type of a game. I hope you learned something. If you did, go ahead and give the video a like. If you have any questions about anything we've done, put them down in the comments and I'll get to them as soon as I can.